Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining me here. This is Vandana Krishna, artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. And in this channel, I share with you little Zentangle tutorials that you can watch and tangle along with me. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be presenting to you the MONOTANGLE CHRONICLES series, where we are going to be working with a focus tangle and a couple of variations of the same tangle. So it's kind of a fun play with the same tangle, creating different looks, adding subtle variations to them. So we will look at the tangle, the focus tangle and its variation first, and then we are going to use a couple of these variations and create a completed Zentangle tile. So the supplies needed for today's class is a square white Zentangle tile of 3.5 inches, a couple of these small square tiles which is of 2 inches, and you would need a fine liner pen with black color ink, a pencil, any graphite pencil would do, and a blending tool. So gather your supplies and let us begin today's tutorial. So our focus tangle for today is the tangle Quandary by Zentangle. So a Zentangle original tangle Quandary. So I'm going to first show you the tangle Quandary on one of the small square tiles. So to do that, first with my pencil, I'm going to create a little border on this tile here. Once you have the border down, then with my fine liner pen, I'm going to start creating the tangle. So the basic shape that this tangle uses is something like this, which is kind of a rounded petal shape, or it is often referred to as the rice grain shape in Zentangle. So once you have placed one of this rice grain shape on the tile, next you're going to leave a little gap and create another one going like this. So imagine you're drawing triangles but not using a simple straight line, but you're using this little petally or the rice grain shape. Now that I have two of them, I'm going to add another one right here and complete the triangle. Right, so this is your basic stroke for Quandary, where again, now that you have three of them, consider each one to be one side of the next triangle, and I'm going to continue as if this is one side of another triangle, and then I'm going to add two more rice grain shapes to it to form another new triangle. So this way I'm going to continue adding these little shapes, creating these triangles until I have filled the entire space. So keep turning your tile and adding these shapes and creating little triangles with these shapes like this. So the key to this is you need to keep turning your tiles so that your triangles are formed nice and even. Of course, some triangles might be big, some might be small, which is totally fine. All you're doing is just adding these little rice grain shapes, and notice right at the edges I'm just creating probably half or 3/4 of them depending on the space that we have on the tile. So just go ahead and keep adding these, and always imagine that you're drawing a triangle with these shapes here and filling the tile like so. Right, so this is our tangle quandary, and to shade it very simply, I'm going to go around the edges of each of these shapes. You can just shade in within the shape, or you can just go ahead and make a complete circle this way where all of the shapes meet. So as you're drawing the little triangles, you can start seeing kind of like a petally or the flowery shape also formed. So as if these are the center of the flowers, I'm going to add in my pencil shade here, and with my blending stump I'm going to just smoothen it out this way. So this is our basic step out to the tangle quandary. So this is a tangle quandary which uses just the little rice grain shapes forming the triangles and in turn forming the flowery shapes. So the basic quandary I have drawn on 3 more of these little square tiles here, so that it will be easy for you to show the variations. So this is our basic quandary, and we look at the variations now one by one. So first, once you draw the basic quandary here, the first variation that we are going to add is a very simple aura variation, where in these spaces between the rice grain shapes, I am going to create a little triangle like this, and I'm going to further add on few more inside those shapes to fill in until there is no more space left. So you can do either this way, or start by drawing a triangle just like here, and instead of joining this third line right to the tip, I'm going to just continue the same line going inside and inside, forming these little triangles using one continuous line. So either this way or this way, it's going to give the same look to the tangle. So go ahead and add in all of these little triangle auras within the triangles formed by placing this rice grain shape. So going one at a time, just adding in. So at these corners where just part of it is seen, so whatever space you have, you're just going to repeat the same thing. Again, the key is to go slowly, making the strokes, and keep turning your tile. Again, at the edges, whatever space you have, you're just going to add in lines within that space. So here's what we are going to get. So as you are adding all of these auras, you start seeing kind of like an entire flower with the lines being formed. And look how different it looks from the original quandary just by adding these couple of auras here. So I have just a few more spaces left. So this is one of the variations of the Tangle quandary, right? Now moving on to the next variation. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, in each of these little rice grain shapes, I'm going to add another small one of the same shape and ink it in this way. So every shape we are going to add another little one inside the shape and ink it in. So same way at these corners and edges too, whatever space you have, you're just going to add in these little inner auras and ink them in. So go ahead and do that on your tile, and I'm also quickly going to add in all these inner auras and filling them up, and I'll meet you back here in a minute. So I have added in now all of this inside auras to the rice grain shape and inked them in, and just this also adds in a nice little contrast than to the original quandary. But we are going to add a little something else to this. So once you have made all of these auras and ink them in, now in between the three inside this triangle shape, I'm going to add in a dot in the center and three lines emerging from the dot touching the rice grain shapes. So something like this, a dot and then three lines, a dot and three lines. So you're going to continue doing this on all of the spaces that you have in between these rice grain shapes. And look already how differently it looks than the original quandary. So all these tiny little variation adds in so much of contrast and difference to the same tangle. And quandary is one of a very versatile tangles wherein there are lots of variations and mix and matches that you can do. So I'm just showing you a couple of variations today, but using these itself you can again mix and match them and form, like, you know, something else, something a little different looking. So take the variations shown here in the tutorial as inspiration and try to create more of them. So this is our second variation. So this is our first and this is our second variation, and now we will move on to the third one here. So again, after you have done the basic quandary, now in the third one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with orbs and this rice grain shape, wherein inside this each of this rice grain shape, I'm going to add in an orb in the center, and then again couple more orbs smooshed in on either side of the central orb, kind of filling this entire rice grain shape with the orbs like this. So again, go one space at a time, and first start by filling in all of these rice grain shapes with orbs, and then we will add something else to this central shape here. So go at your own pace and add in the orbs. I'll do the same and meet you back here in a minute. So I have added in all the orbs here. It's kind of smooshed inside all of these little rice grain shapes. And now in this central space, I'm going to add in little triangles and then make a little orb fitted inside the triangle, and few more orbs right at the edges, and then I'm going to ink in all of the tiny little corners here like this. So this is what we are going to do in all of these little spaces in between the rice grain shapes. So add in a triangle and smoosh in a couple of orbs and ink in the tiny little corners. So take your time and go ahead and practice this variation too, and then we will move on to our larger tile and create a completed Zentangle piece using all of these little variations here. So I have added in all of my orbs here. Now these are our quandary and little variations of the Tangle quandary here. So the original quandary, a variation with auras, a little play with the background lines and dots and the contrast, and a variation with the orbs. Now we'll use all of these variations and create a completed Zentangle piece. So let us take our 3.5 inches tile and start with our pencil creating a border on the tile like this. And once you have the border down, now to create our string here, so I'm going to consider two corners, diagonal corners of the tile here, and I'm going to create little heart shapes, kind of like as if retracing this line and then creating a little heart here like this, and again doing the same thing on this diagonal too, retracing this line a little bit and creating another heart like this. So you have two little hearts at the opposite corners of the tile. So once you have this down, now I'm going to start with the basic quandary, doing this rice grain shapes, and to do that I'm going to start somewhere here on the tile, like say here, and continue adding these rice grain shapes, creating the little triangles, and what I'm going to do is, though I have added this pencil string, for a while I'm going to ignore that this string exists. So I'm going to add in quandary as if there are no string lines or pencil lines here, and I'm going to just continue adding the quandary like this and go ahead and fill in this entire tile within the border with this basic quandary here. So take your time and slowly breathing in with your strokes, go ahead and add in all of these little rice grain shapes, creating the basic quandary here. So I may be a little slower than you or a little faster than you, so you go ahead at your own pace. You can pause the video if you want to and complete your quandary. I'm also going to go ahead at my own pace and fill this entire tile with the tangle, and I'll see you here in a couple of moments. So now I have the style here filled with the basic quandary as if there is no pencil string. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and darken this pencil string a little bit so that it is visible for you on camera, but you need not do this if you can already see the string on your tile. So let me just go ahead and do this. And now within these hearts, so within one of these hearts, I'm going to add the first variation. So I'm going to use this variation of my quandary in one of the hearts, and this variation where we used orbs in the other heart. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to stick to the variation within the heart. So if you notice, like couple of these rice grain shapes are going out of this heart shape, so in that case too I'm just going to stick to the variation within the heart shape. So if this is my string line, I'm going to stop with the variation right there at the string line and continue within these spaces. So wherever there is that rice grain shape within this heart shape, I'm going to create this variation of the aura within the rice grain and inking it in, and then adding a dot and 3 lines in the central space. So go ahead and start creating this variation on your tile now. Again, be mindful of where your pen is making a mark on the paper. And create this variation one by one, going one shape at a time. Like this. So if you're liking this Monotangle Chronicles series that I'm doing here, please share your thoughts and comments in the comment section below the video here. And if you have any particular tangle in mind that you want to learn or want me to create variations of that, do let me know. And while you're here, also remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on any of the upcoming tutorials. So I'm going to take my time and create this variation here on the tile, and remember, you're going to do this variation only within this heart shape here. So go at your own pace, and I will finish my variation here and meet you back in a couple of moments. So now I have the variation done within this heartstring here, and now I'm going to go to the other heartstring and I'm going to create this orb variation there, right? So again, starting with the shapes, just inside this heart shape I'm going to create the variation. So if this is one of the rice grain shape, so I'm going to start in the center creating the orbs and then going ahead and smushing in orbs, and right here where the pencil line of the string ends, I'm going to stick to doing that within that. Like say I'm going to add just 2 orbs here since this area is outside this string line. So this way, first I'm going to add in all of the orbs within this rice grain shape, and then I'm going to create the triangle in the center, and even the triangle I'm not going to bring it outside the pencil line, I'm just going to make it within the string line, creating the triangle this way and then adding in the orbs like this. So first let me complete all of the orbs on the rice grain shape, and then I'm going to do the central triangular space. Again, remember to be mindful of where your pen is making a mark on the paper, and slowly go ahead and create this orb variation fitting within the string line. Again, you feel free to pause the video and go at your own pace, and once you have done the steps, then you can follow along to complete the tile. So I'm going to go at my own pace, create this variation within the heart here, and meet you back in a couple of moments. Alright, so now I have this heart variation, this orb variation in one of the hearts, and this nice contrasting variation on the other heart here. So now right in the center, all I'm going to do is add in this little aura triangles between the rice grain shapes of quandary to kind of bring it all together, and then we can shade this. So I'm going to start in this area and continue adding the aura lines like this. So now all that remains is this central space outside the two hearts. So that is where you're going to go ahead and add in all of this little triangle auras. You can even leave this area plain as is with the original quandary. That is totally okay, but if you want to, you can add in this. Now here at these areas, as if this triangle is continuing to the outside but auraing only this little space here like this, right? So taking my time and filling in all of the in-between spaces. With the auras like this. Alright, so now I have my tile completed here with 3 variations of the Tangle quandary, and now it's time to add in some shades. So to add the shading with my pencil on this heart, I'm just going to go right to the border and add in a little bit of graphite from my pencil like this right at the edge of the heart and also right at the edge of this heart here. And probably I'm going to take it right till this edge also, kind of emphasizing the entire heart shape, and doing the same thing the other side too. And with my blending tool, I'm just going to use lightly and kind of smoothing all the dark pencil line and kind of bringing it a little towards the center or to the inside of this heart shape here. Right, like this, and the same thing the other side too. Once I've blended in all of this heart shape, the shading within the heart shape, for this outer one, all I'm going to do is go around the edges, emphasizing kind of that little flowery shape and adding in the shading a little bit just right to the edge and the center like this, very lightly. I'm not going too dark, just very lightly, and creating this. And then with my blending tool again, just right around the edge and trying and keeping the center white. Just like this. So I hope you enjoyed creating this variation of quandary with me, and I hope you're enjoying this Monotangle Chronicles series. Do share your thoughts, feedbacks and comments, and also remember to share your creations and tag me so that I can have a look at all of your creations. You can even use the hashtag MONOTANGLE CHRONICLES on your social media post while you're posting the projects done, watching the video here. Alright, so this is our little play with the Tangle quandary here, and it's time to add in our initials or our chop and take time to appreciate your creation. Right? Once again, thank you for joining me here. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I will see you again soon with yet another little Zentangle tutorial. Until then, take care. Have a nice time. Bye.